Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user Anon and a bunch of numbers. My 21 boyfriend, 22, is going out for dinner with a girl he met at a party. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 3.5 years. About 5 months ago, my boyfriend and I went to my best friend's birthday party. It was pretty small, 10 or so people. We both met this girl, a co-worker of my best friend, who didn't know anyone else there. At the party, my boyfriend and her were talking quite a bit, and I was with them for a lot of the night, and we got along well. But since I was close with a lot of people there, I obviously had conversations with other people there, whereas my boyfriend and her were not close to most of the people there and therefore talked more. I was super happy that my boyfriend was being outgoing and talkative because he can be a bit asocial at parties and didn't think anything of them talking a lot other than, yay, he's having fun. Lol. Last month, the girl reaches out to my boyfriend on Instagram. She got both of our Instagrams back at the party and asks him to meet up for lunch to catch up. And they go back and forth about saying how much they got along and how they feel like they could be really good friends and how they don't want to miss out. He showed me the first few messages and I found it weird how expressive they were about how much they liked each other even though they were only talking for a few hours. Much of the time with other people, including myself. I haven't looked at his texts, but she does text him late at night sometimes, and he never replies to her when I'm there. I don't want to cross that line, but honestly, I feel tempted to. I talked to him about it a few times saying I'm uncomfortable about them meeting up, but it's weird. Like several months after meeting for a few hours. My best friend thinks it's weird too. It's just weird and I'm uncomfortable. They are planning to meet up and it just makes my heart really heavy and sad. He also told me yesterday that he told her I was uncomfortable with him and her getting along, which I felt was kinda like a slap in the face because he has admitted that it's weird but kinda put me in a bad light. Then later said he said it in a joking way. Every time I bring it up, he talks about when I go out with friends in a group and a guy is there, even though I have always been 100% faithful and never been shady, and never wanted to meet up with someone I met at a party alone. He has had a past, which has made it hard for me to trust him. He texted his ex asking to hang out 2 days before he asked me to be his official girlfriend. We were seeing each other exclusively for 3 months before. And also was being extremely flirty, talking about sex, thongs, etc. a few months into our relationship over text with one of his friend's ex-girlfriends. This is a whole mess, LMAO. I'm kind of all over the place. Just wanna know if this is like normal and I should get over it. No, OP, I don't think it's normal. If you're in a committed relationship, it doesn't matter if it's a day or 3 years. If you are in a committed relationship, you don't go up setting dates with other people just because you had fun talking to them or how much you clicked. You certainly don't have those weird intimate conversations with friends about sex and thongs. Like, dude, this guy does not respect you. Not only that, but he also said to this girl that you were jealous or something. He's an idiot, OP. You've wasted 3 years of your life with this idiot who doesn't respect you. OP, there's a bunch of red flags here and it is not normal. So you need to make a choice. You have the choice to sit down with your boyfriend and draw hard boundaries, or you have the choice to walk away. I think you should walk away because you already told him that you were uncomfortable with this. He decided to tell the other girl. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Here is a tip says, you're watching your boyfriend go on a date. Think about that. The Skipster says, you know what is going on. He knows what is going on. She knows what is going on. Your dog knows what is going on. It is that obvious. He is just hoping that he can BS you into believing otherwise. You are watching the beginnings of something starting up between them. He's untrustworthy when it comes to fidelity in a relationship and has already proven that once before. Now that there is a second time, you can call this a pattern and a core part of who he is. If you want to stay with them, then you need to accept the fact that he will get his jollies from other girls when he can. You can also just bury your head in the sand and try to ignore the reality that is right in your face. Pavlov's Dogs says he told her you were uncomfortable because he wanted to gauge her reaction. If I was trying to befriend a dude and his girlfriend was uncomfortable, I'd say, oh no, we should invite her. What redeeming qualities does this dude have that you're willing to let him disrespect you like this? Spoonbills says having friends of the opposite sex is great. Doing activities with them, integrating them into your friend group, seeing them socially with your partner, all good. Going on dinner dates one-on-one with them, where there's alcohol, not so great, especially with a shady background. So, why aren't you invited to dinner? AlleyCat1282 says, I had a boyfriend who had a friendship like this once. He went out for drinks with the girl and didn't come home until 2 o'clock the next afternoon while I was at home with his 8-year-old daughter, unable to freak the F out because I had a little person to worry about and didn't want her upset to boot. She was moved into the house and wearing whatever clothing I hadn't had time to pack on my way out the door within a week. And basically Ballin says they're into each other. He wants to explore it without losing the comfort of a longtime girlfriend. You're young. You've been with him since you were 17. I think it's time to acknowledge you deserve someone who respects your relationship more. After 3.5 years together, couples usually make new friends together. It's weird for him to go out on a date with someone else. I'm sorry. It can be hard to know when to end things that have run their course, but it sounds like you have probably outgrown this one. Well, the community can see the writing on the wall and they're trying to tell OP to just get out of this. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I first just want to say thank you to the many people who have reached out to me both publicly and privately about my post. I never expected to get so much support or to do an update post, but some have requested it, and I feel like you guys have been so awesome that I can't not do one. Last night, I broke up with him. I confronted him again about the situation, showed him the original post here, and asked to see the text messages between them, and he showed me. As I was reading the text out loud, I felt sick to my stomach. The texts read that he thought about her weeks after meeting. Almost all the texts were paragraphs where they were flirty and witty, containing winky faces, a lot of winky faces. They complimented each other a lot, not about like physical attributes, but more about their personalities. He also said she would fit well in his friend group, and they had this weird conversation about being shady and flirtatious, argued about whether it's a good thing or not. Still confused about that. And then finally, the all-time weirdest thing was that she brought up New Year's, which is my birthday, and he told her what we did, and that's when he brought up how I'm uncomfortable and stuff. And she replied along the lines of, I understand, it's hard to know someone's intentions, and then said that I could come the next time they hang out? Lol. He denies having any bad intentions, which I sort of believe, but when you have texts like that I don't think intent is what really matters, because he's sending out signals to the girl, and that crossed the line in our relationship. The second part, which is equally important, is that this situation made me realize that we aren't like that anymore. I understand relationships get to be in that comfortable stage, which is completely fine and normal, but I don't think I have romantic feelings for him anymore. Additionally, you need trust in a relationship, and I was coming to the conclusion that I don't trust him, and maybe that is on me. This situation was kind of just the tipping point in our relationship. We both made mistakes, and I need to work on things within myself. We grew up together and bonded and shared many great memories. He will always be an important part of my life, and there will always be love there. I don't want to de-emphasize that. I'm starting school again in less than a week, and I'm going to make an effort to improve myself and grow. Thank you for all the kind words, advice, and just the fact that many of you took the time out of your day to be compassionate to another human. You all have really helped me, and I hope everyone continues to be kind, because you never know how far it can touch someone. Willoughby, I think you've made the right decision. Regardless of whatever history you guys had, that dude did not have good intention. So you're right, this is an opportunity to work on whatever it is you think you need to work, get to know yourself better, and move on. So on that note, here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user like WTF001. Overheard my girlfriend say she would leave me for someone taller. My girlfriend and I have been dating for almost 3 years. Last night, she had some friends over after she finished work. I work from home, so I only left my office to be formal and say hello and continued working. It was easy to hear the conversation they were having even though my office is down the hall. I then heard my girlfriend mention that she would leave me for a taller man. Her friends made a comment on how I was a lot shorter than her ex-boyfriend. My girlfriend responded, "If only he was as tall as my ex, he'd be 10 times better. If I could find someone taller than him, I would." I guess I should mention my girlfriend is barely 4 foot 11 inches in shoes. I'm 5'9". The issue isn't the height, but the fact that she would leave me for something so trivial. I talked to her about it since and said she didn't mean anything by it, just that she always dated taller men. She has since apologized multiple times. Is this a red flag of any kind of things to come, or is it just me overthinking? Willoughby, I don't think you're overthinking. I think this is a huge red flag for starters. I'm sure she'll try to play it down because she probably didn't know you heard her and now feels caught. The fact is that she said it. If she had the chance, she would leave you for someone taller. End of story. She may try to play it down like it was banter and she was just, talking with her friends or whatnot and making fun. Doesn't matter. At a minimum, it is disrespectful to you that she would be saying those things with her friends. So to me, this is, any way you slice it, a red flag. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Cheery Dr. Pepper says, she would dump you for someone taller, yet she is barely 4'11" in shoes. The F? She's judging you for your height? The next guy that dates her could say the same thing about her. She'd likely flip her crap. I'm 5. My husband is 5'8". He is perfect for me. She knew you were listening. She knew exactly what she was saying. Throwaway Man 007 says, let's ignore the topic of height for a moment, because saying to someone that you would leave your partner if he or she was XYZ shows a complete lack of respect towards your partner. It also shows intent to look somewhere else. It's not so much about height, but I think she has no respect for you and also probably a wandering eye. Endofanera ADTR says, it's a flag. She sounds like she's looking for dumb reasons to leave you. She said that in confidence that you couldn't hear her. A normal and healthy relationship would never joke about leaving their partner for X or someone with X with friends. That's just a sign that she will leave if she does find someone who is taller than you and remotely interested. That's not something you joke about. It's ridiculous how much height plays into people's deal breakers nowadays. Personally, I would leave her. Anyone who's willing to disrespect you and your relationship in front of friends is not worth staying for. Moonlight's Hand says, I don't really like the phrase red flag these days. It's overused and underappreciated, and it implies something that I don't think is necessarily always meant. This is what I'm going to call a concerning attitude. Her approach to the situation is concerning. 1. If she isn't joking, then she ranks height as a more important factor in a partner than most other things. That's not inherently bad, but it's incredibly shallow and it's somewhat problematic when you're in a relationship. 2. If she is joking, it's still concerning that she's willing to make that as a joke. I don't think we can predict anything from this. It's a single incident. Heaven knows I've said some stupid effing things in past and present relationships. We all have. But you know her and you know the situation and context. Does this feel like something that implies anything to you or not? And MKR Foxden says, you should break up with her. As someone else suggested, tell her it is to find someone nicer. She can apologize to you all she wants, but she can't unring that bell. Do you think you will forget what she said? First of all, it was very disrespectful. Second of all, it showed a glimpse of how petty and untrustworthy she is. Do you want to waste your time with someone who secretly feels that way about you and talks about you like that to her friends? OP's in-post update. I didn't feel the need to make an entire different post for the update, so here it is. I left early in the morning to make sure I wasn't making irrational choices. When I came back, she was immediately apologetic, but I didn't want any more apologies. I talked to her about how little respect she had for me, that she felt the need to make jokes at my expense. She started crying and begging not to break up and feeding me the standard BS people say when they don't want to break up. To not bore you with the details, I broke it off. I lose nothing at this point. I should clarify something from my initial post. I get that people can joke around and it doesn't mean anything, but when I confronted her about it, she denied it and got very defensive. That's the part that got to me. The fact that she tried to cover it up before apologizing. I read all the comments, and thank you. Alright, the community talked, OP listened and acted. But we still have one more update, so let's move on with that to see how this story ends. So I read all the comments on my last post, and even after breaking up with my girlfriend, I was doubting if I made the right decision. I wasn't going to update because I didn't see a reason to do it, but after the last couple of days, I came to a final conclusion. I want to clarify that I broke up with my girlfriend because of how easy it was for her to disrespect me behind my back, not because of the actual height difference. After I broke up with her, she continued to apologize to me. She would send me letters and call me a lot. In one of the texts I actually responded to, she asked me if we could meet up and talk. Without going into too much detail, she wanted a second chance and overall sounded very remorseful. I was about to agree, but something she said made me realize I would be making a mistake if I did. She said, "I'll remember to respect you from now on." That sentence made me realize that I made the right choice by breaking up. Since when do you have to be reminded to have the bare minimum of respect for your partner? Either way, I'm glad I didn't give her a second chance. I don't know if any of you care at this point, but there's the update. On a side note, the other day I was hanging out with one of my female friends who happens to be taller, and I guess she saw us and started texting me that she doesn't need me, started saying that my friend was a pig and that I moved on too fast. I blocked her and had a laugh. I know for a fact I made the right choice. Well, OP, it definitely sounds like you made the right choice. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user TXQuilter1. Karen at work. So we had a true Karen at work. Her name really was Karen and she lived up to it. She took it upon herself to police all of the other employees in a cubicle and office setting. Heaven forbid that someone used the printer without using double-sided print or printing something for personal use. She was called the Printer Nazi. Now, our company also had two buildings, corporate office and production office. The production office is where I worked, and sometimes visitors from the corporate office would use a vacant cubicle and vice versa. Our IT department was normally located at the corporate office to keep them close to upper management. One day, we had IT in our offices using a few of our cubicles while they did some systems upgrades. Karen has no clue who these people are, so she takes it upon herself to walk behind them to police their actions. One gentleman happened to be checking the weather, which was allowed, by the way, for employee and company safety. We had major storms coming in that day. Karen saw his screen and decided to stop and scold him on the use of the company internet and pursuits outside of company business. Now, here's the kicker. Remember I said she didn't know who this gentleman was? He was the head of IT. He never told her who he was and just played it cool. He came and told me what took place during our next break, as he and I were close work friends. I told him she was the office Karen and made everyone miserable with her constant tattlings and reprimands. So he decided on the ultimate petty revenge. He checked her surfing history. Now, Karen has her own office, so she was able to do just about anything without getting caught. She had been online shopping nearly every single day for several hours a day. She even left him that day and went to her office and purchased a blouse like the hypocrite that she was. I later found out that he turned her in for misuse of company intranet and they physically walked her out a week later. Had she minded her own business, they never would have checked her history. Bye-bye, Karen. Well, OP, I don't think it was just one petty revenge. I think it was a fantastic act of a good service for the company morale. Thanks so much for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.